Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin Bubble news channel. These people have basically said that this is the only way to show that you are who you say you are. This means that if you don't use that system, you don't exist in the eyes of the government or the business sector. So if you don't use that system, you're automatically shut out of the economy and pretty much everything else as well. It's going to be a problem reaction answer situation, but they've already made the solution and figured out what they want to be. The new method for running the economy after this new Bretton Woods moment. They only need a big event like World War II or another big event that causes a lot of trouble to decide that it's time for a new system of financial control. About a year ago, at the Global Finance Summit in Paris, French President Emmanuel Macron stressed how important it was for the people to have a financial shock to fight global warming right away. At about the same time, Klaus Schwab, founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum WEF, agreed with this and called for a complete rethink of the world economy. Schwab said that all industries, from oil and gas to technology, as well as every country, from the US to China, must change. A piece on the WEF website by Schwab said, "We need a great reset of capitalism." According to well-known investigative reporter Whitney Webb, these comments point to the start of a new international monetary system, thought of as a blockchain-based alternative to the current Bretton Woods scheme. Webb says that the goal of this new system is to be able to watch and control every part of our lives. They come from the words of a number of world elites and WEF members, Macron and Mark Carney, who used to be the governor of both the Bank of England and the Bank of Canada, and the UN Special Envoy for Action on Climate Change and Money. Carney has talked about three important parts of the New World Order. There are environmental, social, and governance-related factors as well as digital IDs, central bank digital currencies, and CBDCs. In a recent interview with Mark Goodwin, writer and editor-in-chief at Bitcoin Magazine, Webb warned that governments around the world are pushing this new world order agenda, which is led by the very rich and powerful, such as Larry Fink and other executives in Silicon Valley. Fink wants to tokenize all existing assets and commodities, as well as the natural world. Webb warns that soon, the very rich will be able to buy, sell, and trade everything from woods to rivers, mountains, and lakes in order to increase their power and control. During her conversation with Goodwin, Webb brought up two important parts of the New World Order plans, Digital Idaho and the tokenization of the natural world. She warned that Schwab's ideas and his powerful allies, such as Macron, are about to carry out their big, possibly disastrous plans. I believe that the digital ID is a key part of monitoring because it lets people know what everyone is doing at the transactional level and allows micromanagement to be changed based on a person's activity. After all, the digital ID isn't just used in the financial system, right? It's like your trip history, health history, work history, school records, and ability to use phones, social media, and the internet. In this day and age of AI, right? They can put all of that info together and look at it. Do you know? They could use that AI algorithm to control people in ways that have never been seen before, based on how they develop it. As far as I can tell, the digital ID, the CBDC, and its private sector parity project have always been meant to work together. For years, the UN, the BIIs, and other groups have been working on this, and there are papers that basically show how important one is to the other. Speaking in terms of inclusion, I guess the whole point of selling digital ID is that everyone needs a legal ID because without it, they can't get to services that are necessary, right? The idea is that we all need to be a part of the system. And they directly connect that to the idea of financial inclusion, which you brought up earlier, and giving people who don't have bank accounts access to them. But these methods work in a way that leaves some people out by design. Because of how they're set up, they've pretty much said that this is the only way to show your legal identity. This means that if you don't use that system, you don't exist in the eyes of the government or the business sector. So if you don't use that system, you're automatically shut out of the economy and pretty much everything else as well. You either have to join the monitoring state or you won't be able to do anything. It is being sold as a way to include everyone, but it actually leaves some people out. In what way does this machine start up? How do we get to the Mark Carney-ism? I believe they give it away when they say this is the new Bretton Woods movement that needs to be taken. In a sense, Bretton Woods was the result of World War II. It was a new way of managing money that was set up after the war, and this is basically an effort to make a new system for financial control. It was announced a long time before that kind of crisis, but it's likely going to need one to be put into place and for people to agree to support it. Large scale. But if you believe that all wars are bankers' wars, which there is a lot of evidence for, then that seems to suggest that maybe this is the pre-problem reaction solution type of situation where they've already made the solution. They've already made what they want to be the new financial governance system after this new Bretton Woods moment. They just need a big event like World War II or something equally big and disruptive to say, okay, now it's time for a new financial governance system after this big event like they did after World War II. Yes, I think what's so interesting about this debt bubble bursting is that if you know the bubble is going to pop and want to make the new system work, you want to have the most debt obligations on record so that when the system pops, they all pop. All of the debt bubbles will pop at the same time. It's going to be everything at once. It won't be like, oh, Japan is fine, the US is messed up. That won't work. It will all pop at once. So, in a strange way, you want to take on as much debt as possible right before the bubble bursts so you can say, hey, we'll pay off your debt one by one. If you want to join this new global tokenized ledger, all you have to do is sign up here, take a selfie, and give us your biometrics. Then you'll be here, in the case of Larry Fink. It looks like they have a big plan to create new types of assets that will help their current business model keep going for, thousands of years. One of these is the idea of natural assets or nature's economy, which I've been writing about for a few years. The Intrinsic Exchange Group, which is made up of the Rockefeller Foundation and the multilateral development banking system, has a graphic on their website called The Opportunity that shows how much money is already in the world economy and what it is. This is one of the groups that has been pushing this forward. There are about 6 times as many natural assets in the economy as there are assets in it now if we can unlock them. As an asset manager, BlackRock wants to unlock and take control of as many natural assets as possible that aren't currently part of the financial system. This is a clear way for them to keep doing what they're doing and gain more power over not only people in the current financial system, but also over the natural world, making everything alive into a tradable Wall Street financial product. As Fink has said, the goal is to have all of this on a universal ledger on blockchain so that it can all be tracked and seen. This is interesting if you think about it in terms of risk management, which is something that Larry Fink has said has been a big part of his career. By making it all watchable and, in a way, automatic, he lets Aladdin, his risk management AI, sort of take charge of it in ways that have never been seen before, which I think is good for them. Then, of course, as we move into this new system of financial control, there is a push to change all of the infrastructure to this quote-unquote green. A green model or decarbonization, I guess. This would interact with the world carbon market, but it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be, but it is clear that the goal is to build a lot of new infrastructure around the world, and BlackRock is setting itself up to be one of the biggest players in that field, one of the biggest infrastructure builders in the world,